Being an entrepreneur can be all-encompassing. It seems like we're always on, all the time. The danger of living in a world where it's possible to be on call 24/7 is that the majority of your time is spent fielding phone calls, emails, social media posts, and meanwhile, the tasks you wanted to complete might not get the attention they need. And all those distractions can completely compromise your ability to be productive, to attend to the things that really matter. But it doesn't have to be this way. In a recent article in Entrepreneur magazine, Nina Zipkin spoke with 40 successful women entrepreneurs on what strategies they use to maintain focus, boost their productivity, and get things done. Today, I want to share with you some of my favorites from women entrepreneurs just like you. From Danielle Yakubowski, her recommendation is to create time blocks. Here's her strategy. I'm pretty good about creating to-do lists, and I'm constantly prioritizing what I put at the top of the list. I also think it's important to break your workload down into digestible nuggets. I break things down into things that feel doable within a span of 1 to 2 hours. That helps me methodically sort through everything that's on my plate. Thank you, Daniela. Meryl Stubbs of Food 52 uses this strategy. Her recommendation is to take breaks. I really step away from something after I've been working on it. Take a short walk. Talk to someone who has nothing to do with what I've been focusing on. And this is very important, stay hydrated. Thank you, Meryl. From Jen Rubio at Away, her strategy is to take steps toward your big goal. Her advice is to keep your eye on the prize. I think if you always keep in mind the bigger thing you're working towards, it's a good gauge to make sure that everything you're doing is a step toward that goal. An inch toward the bigger goal can actually be a massive step forward. Whether your bigger goal is to IPO your company or you're really focused on building a team, make sure everything you're doing every day in some way is a step towards that. Thank you, Jen. Bia Fishkel-Bock, and no, we're not related, from Hutch provides us with this strategy. Take care of yourself. She said, I'm of no use to anyone or myself if I'm burnt out. The days that I don't get enough sleep or have too many glasses of wine at dinner make focusing so much more difficult. I end up being less efficient and less productive. So true, Bia. Okay, number 5, from Randy Zuckerberg of Zuckerberg Media. Her strategy is this. I like to carve out blocks of time that I'm going to be completely unplugged, which is sometimes frustrating to the rest of my team. But I find that it's hard to do creative, thoughtful tasks when I'm constantly interrupted by emails and text messages. I like to carve out 2 or 3 hours where I do a deep dive into writing a piece or working on a speech. That's the most effective hours of my entire day. Thank you, Randy. And from Christine Barbarich of Refinery 29, her strategy is to communicate and ask for support. She shared that sometimes she feels overwhelmed and that it's important for her to communicate her priorities. She goes on to say that I always sort them into one of 2 piles. Do I need support or do I need space? Do I need support to actually get things done? Or do I need space because I really have a creative problem I want to solve? And sometimes I need both. It's just important to be able to clarify which is more important and when. Thank you, Christine. Next up is me. This is one of my most effective strategies, and that's don't let your inbox be your to-do list. Another way of saying this is don't let other people create your to-do list. I was working with a client who was struggling She just wasn't getting things done and her business was suffering. Asking her to take me through a typical day, and we discovered that she was spending about 2 hours a day in her inbox. First, she deleted the obvious spam and the items that had no interest. Then she read each of the emails from lists she subscribed to, other service providers, people that she'd purchased programs or products from in the past. You get the idea. This became a huge time vampire for her. We trimmed down the time in her inbox to less than 30 minutes each day so that she could focus on her to-do list, what was important to the success of her business, so that she could have a business and a life she loves. Yes, you can have both. And one of my favorites is from Kara Golden at Hint, and that is to celebrate your wins. She shared that her strategy is to celebrate every win, big or small. If you focus on 3 things that you've done well lately, it will help you tell yourself, yes, I can do it. Thank you, Kara. Now, as always, you'll find more great resources at susanbock.com. So if you're watching this on a social media platform, head on over to susanbock.com and be sure to download your copy of Attract More Clients Now checklist. You'll discover specific actionable steps you can take to become more visible to your ideal dream clients at any stage of business growth. Now, if you're unsure about something I've talked about today, let's talk. Schedule your complimentary call with me at susanbock.com/contact. And now it's your turn. Post your thoughts and questions about today's video. And until next time, this is Susan Bock, your business success strategist.